right, 5 minutes after 9 o'clock, it's time for Veterans News. Today's Veterans News, by the way, is a full hour, and your phone calls are invited. If you'd like to participate in the show, you'll need the number. It is 352-622-9622, and Hank Whittier is here. Good morning, Hank.
That's right. I've set a record. This is the fourth consecutive.
Unbelievable.
I'm telling you. It's funny because Dr. Knapp is here, and, he's my hero, so I wouldn't want to miss the show. Listen, it is an hour today. I think the theme is men's health. Is that correct? Very good. Very good. Excellent. Outstanding. Well, a lot to talk about. Listen, we have a lot of casualties. I wish we didn't, but we do have a lot of casualties today. So the military casualties are Army Staff Sergeant Matthew Llewellyn from Kansas. These are all people killed in action in Afghanistan. Army Staff Sergeant Kevin McEnroe from Arizona. Army Staff Sergeant James Moriarty from Texas. Army Specialist Ronald Murray from Maryland. Army Private Tyler Labette from Illinois. Army Staff Sergeant John Perry from California. We also have a lot of casualties from law enforcement, all killed in the line of duty. Some of them from automobile accidents, some of them shot and killed while chasing felons. Deputy Sheriff Justin White from Georgia, Corrections Officer David Weaver from Pennsylvania, Deputy Sheriff Dennis Wallace from California, Police Officer Scott Basham from Pennsylvania, Police Officer Darren Reed, Arizona, Deputy Sheriff Darrell Smallwood from Georgia, Sergeant Patrick Soden from Georgia, Police Officer Cody Brotherson from Utah, and Sergeant Paul Terrazzo from New York, all killed in action doing their job. And then we lost a couple of firefighters also doing their job. Alfred Stewart, New Jersey firefighter, and Fire Chief Michael Payne from Indiana, all killed in the line of duty. Bad casualty list. Anybody local they want to mention? Anybody? Okay, good.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Appreciate that. Larry, you're going to talk about Bob Wines.
Yes.
And there's some good news for Bob Wines. We have Dr. Knapp here who's going to retire pretty soon, so he'll be able to spend more money at Bob Wines. I think you're one of their best customers, aren't you?
I'm over there every single weekend.
Yeah.
They do a great job.
Well, now you can be over there twice a week. Okay, so,
Bob Wines makes this show possible, so we thank Bob Wines Community Gardens and Nursery for the sponsorship. And they are located at 2610 Southeast 38th Street here in Ocala. When it comes to landscaping, Bob Wines has what you need. Everything from small plants to large trees, mulch, fertilizer, so much more. And you'll be happy to know that Bob Wines offers a 10% discount to veterans. Bob Wines will even deliver, plant, and guarantee their trees. Bob Wines Community Gardens and Nursery has been keeping you blooming since 1952.
very good. Good. They've been with us a while, and they're good folks, and they will give a discount to veterans. All you got to do is bring your card over and show them that VA card or a 214, something that you're in the military. And
214.
214. Anything will work. But they're good people. They got a great selection, so go over there and do some shopping. Let me thank a couple of people, and Jinky is here to thank some people, too, for her event coming up. So I want to thank the Marine Corps recruiters. They came over to the clinic last week. We handed out donuts and coffee, and we had Marine Corps cake. It was a Marine Corps birthday, so we had the recruiters doing that, along with Stan McLean, the newly elected House of Representative for Marion County in the state, and also Michelle Stone, who's our new county commissioner. So it was a great time. We had a lot of people come over. It was a good day. And let me thank Oak Ridge Dental and Smiles Dental. We did 44 veterans on Veterans Day. Cleanings, fillings, extractions, and anything else they could do. We kind of exhausted their staff. So that was all day, from 7 o'clock in the morning to about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. It was outstanding. Okay. So I got an update, huh? So it was over 60, 65, or 68 served altogether. Some of them were simple cleanings, but I have to tell you, there were a lot of the guys and women that had a lot of severe problems dental-wise. And, dental's hard to get in the VA, so it was good service. So that was all. This is their third year of doing that, and let me particularly thank Dr. Bonesteel and all those staff from both organizations that helped us do that. That was an outstanding day. So, listen, we have. Are you taking the lead, Dr. Torres?
Yep.
I guess so. He's turned it over. It's a big smile. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So today is going to be, the theme is going to be men's health, and I'll let you good folks go ahead and take off with it. And Jinky, hold on for 1 sec. I'm sorry, Jinky, I ignored you. You wanted to thank a couple of people. Yeah, why don't you do it now before? Because you won't get a chance otherwise, okay?
When he starts talking, right?
What's that supposed to mean?
Good morning. Thank you for having me here. And we have 2 weeks away before our masquerade ball, the magic behind the mask, Dr. Knapp. You're going to be there wearing a mask?
I'm going to be there. Actually, I tell my wife when I go home tonight, we're going to practice dancing.
We won't have a dance, but you'll be dancing on the table. That's what I heard from Weather.
He may do that, too. It's a new career.
You can't have a ball with Hank. Hank's a dancer. I just know he's a dancer.
Okay, well, we would like to thank all our sponsors. We have a lot of sponsors, but I can only mention a few of them because I don't want to get in trouble with Joe Martone. We, of course, have Caliber Home Loans. We have Chris and Sanji Blair. We have Automax, Paramount Title, Triple Crown Realty, Stewart Title, Shot McGraw, and I want you to know that we also have few people who will make this event very memorable by, taking photos and videos, and one of them is actually here.
Yeah, Bronson.
Bronson
Mosley.
is- Yes, with Daybreak Studios. And we also have Daniel Bray who will take the pictures. And we have a lot of goodies, a lot of desserts. We have Island Grove wine. It'll be fun.
And WOCA.
WOCA, of course. Don't forget Larry. I'm so sorry.
It's going to be a big night, and we've sold out, so.
Yes, we are way
big
beyond
night,
sold
and
out.
I'm saving the first dance for you, Dr. Knapp.
Yes.
You're scaring me, Hank. You're scaring me.
I think I'll dance with Joe Martone. It's
There
going to
you
be
go.
my first dance.
All right, listen, Dr. Torres, I'm going to let you, why don't you start it off? I see you get some preparation there.
Yes,
You want to talk
sir.
about some things, and
Yes. Well,
let's
good
go ahead.
morning. We're going to start talking about men's health today. And we have Dr. Eskilsson from the Ocala Primary Care Clinic is one of our primary care providers. Welcome.
Good morning. It's nice to be here.
And we have Dr. Knapp also in the panel.
Okay, thank you.
So we're going to talk today about hypertension and cardiovascular disease and diabetes. So I would like to start with Dr. Eskilsson. Can you let us know what is hypertension and how we define the parameters of hypertension?
When we're talking about hypertension, we're discussing the pressures that are generated by the heart when it beats. We're not talking about politics, religions, or the relatives. So we're talking about a physical situation. The heart, when it beats, it does not have a continual pressure, but it contracts, it relaxes, then it contracts again. And you have two pressure parameters that we measure. When it contracts, that's the highest pressure that it gets. We call it systolic. When it relaxes, so that the heart can fill again, the pressure drops down to a certain level before it contracts again, and that's called the diastolic. So we've got systolic and diastolic pressures. Now, the heart, the blood pressure can actually vary tremendously depending on the situation. If you're just totally relaxed, that's the pressure that we're trying to measure. But if you're physically active, you've had some coffee to drink, you've been lots of stuff, or if you're on a radio show, your blood pressure is going to be a little bit higher. And that's a normal physiologic response. So when we're trying to figure out the blood pressure, what's normal, what's not, we're trying to determine at a relaxed idle level. It's like the tachometer of a car. When you're driving down the highway, you want it to be running 2,000 RPM. When you're sitting in your driveway at rest, you want it running 800 to 1,000 RPM. So it's the idle speed is what we're trying to get at the heart. And the old parameters were 140 over 90, where 140 is the pressure of the systolic when the heart beats, and 90 is the diastolic. We like it to be less than that. Recently, we've decided that perhaps a little lower than that might be better. And generally, you'd like to see around 135 over 85, or maybe even a little bit lower if you have certain underlying conditions. It also varies from one person to another. Certain people, such as elderly who are more frail, we may allow a little bit higher blood pressure. Particularly, you want to avoid the diastolic getting below about 70, because if you get below that, it's actually shown that they cause more problems with various such as passing out and heart failure and stuff.
Doctors, we need to take a little break, and we'll be right back. And if I could just remind the listeners again, we do have an open phone line. If you have any questions during the course of this show, you are invited to call. The number is 352-622-9622. And today is a full hour show, so we've got another 44 minutes left. We'll take a break and be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be sunny and pleasant on this Thursday with a high of 76 to 80, then clear to partly cloudy and comfortable Thursday night. Lows ranging from the upper 40s and 50s inland to about 64 along the coast. Friday, mostly sunny and warm, high 78 to 82. Saturday, mostly sunny and becoming breezy and pleasant, the high 76 to 80. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Hi, my name is Erica Olstein. I'm a doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine. So, you used to be wired, now you're just tired. You used to be thin, but now you're the heaviest you've ever been. You don't necessarily always have to take a med if your thyroid is playing dead. If you have a thyroid disorder, an acupuncture visit may be in order. Come visit me, your primary care physician, Erica Olstein, at A Better You Healthcare. Call me at 352-615-5566.
It may be November to you, but it's officially Christmas at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala. They're stocked up with all the freshest, greenest, Christmassy stuff you can imagine. Like gorgeous budded and blooming Christmas cactus, many sizes and hanging baskets, starting at just $3.99. And how about those florally foil-wrapped poinsettias? They've got fascinating new colors like Love You Pink, Ice Punch, Winter Rose, all sizes, with prices starting at just $3.99. Also great for the holidays, those red ruffle ever-blooming azaleas, still just $3.99. Finally, Bob Wines has thousands of camellias, including their famous heirloom camellias, all budded and blooming, regularly $19.99. They're just $15 each when you buy 2 or more. See all that's new at BobWinesCameliaGardens.net. Then get there, Southeast 38th Street, daily till 4, Saturdays till 2. And this year, it'll be a Christmas like no other.
It's time for the annual Ohana Candy Cane Carnival. It starts November 17th through the 20th at the Florida Horse Park. Come on down Thursday from 4 p.m. till 11 p.m. or Friday from 4 p.m. till 11 p.m. or Saturday from noon till 11 p.m. or Sunday from noon till 8 p.m. Find out how kids 8 to 17 can enter the upcycled trashy fashion show by visiting our Facebook page, Florida Kids Helping Kids. For carnival ticket information, call 352-347-0883. All right, 20 minutes after 9 o'clock. Again, the phone number is 352-622-9622. Let's return to Veterans News. Dr. Jose Torres sitting in the captain's seat. Doctor?
Good morning again. We're going to talk to Dr. Knapp now about, can you tell us about atherosclerosis and how it's related to heart disease?
Well, I sure can, and I just want to preface it by the term empowerment, and since Jenke just informed our audience that I talk too much, I'm going to prove it in the next minute or so. But We've been doing the radio show for 5 years, and at the very end of the radio show, we always talk about empowerment. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to get our veterans that we see in the office to really take good care of their health. You know, check blood pressures, check blood sugars, walk daily, watch their diet. And we got this idea about Men's Health, Hank, because about a month ago I got a call from one of the support groups in town. It's a cancer support group that I've spoken to them a number of times, and they wanted to know about Men's Health. And I thought, well, maybe we're getting through. Maybe we're getting through by talking about empowering people to really take control of their health. And we spoke about diabetes, hypertension, atherosclerosis. So hopefully what we're doing here on the radio is making some input into improving the overall quality of health.
Good. Well, you got a phone call, so you
And
have
you
to
have a
put on your headphones to hear the phone call.
There you go. Let me get the headsets on first. Okay. Can everybody hear me through the headset? That's how you'll know that you can hear the phone call. Good morning. Thank you for calling. You're on the air.
Good morning. I have a question. Can I get a blood pressure cuff from the VA?
Yes, there is blood pressure cuffs available, and you can contact your provider, and that can be arranged.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling.
Well, let me go back and answer that question then, Dr. Torres. One of the concepts that when we go out in the community and talk about heart disease, hypertension, diabetes is atherosclerosis. And essentially that's hardening of the arteries. And that starts very early in life. And indeed in the Vietnam War, when they did autopsies, they found that young veterans would have yellow plaques of cholesterol in the arteries. So that starts very, very early in life. And essentially is clogging of our arteries. It's important because it's a total body disease. So you can get clogging of your arteries in your head, causing stroke, heart, causing heart attacks, aneurysms in your stomach. And since most of our veterans are males, that's one of the etiologies of impotence and problems with erections as we all get older. So it really behooves all of us to really know the risk factors and really try to mitigate those risk factors so we don't get any of those diseases.
You have another phone call.
Okay.
Thank you for calling. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, thanks for taking my call. Doctors, a long period of high blood pressure, will that enlarge your heart? And if it does, if you get on medication, will the heart go back to what we'll call regular size?
That's a very good question. And high blood pressure is one of the leading causes of what we call heart failure, which is basically what you described, where the heart becomes enlarged and doesn't pump efficiently. If the blood pressure is corrected soon enough, we can reduce the effect on that. If it goes too long, sometimes we can halt the progression, but we can't return it back to normal. So it's really important to stay on top of the blood pressure.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for calling.
Good question.
You know, I know that your dietitian isn't here, but could you talk briefly, and I don't want to preempt some of the points you're trying to make, but where does diet fall into all this? For instance, a Mediterranean diet?
Well, she was here in April. We had her on the show talking about this in April. And there's a question we were going to talk about salt. Salt is the big thing with hypertension. And obviously our society, eats a very, very large salt diet. And salt influences hypertension tremendously. As far as the other cardiac diet and Mediterranean diet, we do have a dietary referral, and our dietitian has cooking classes and move programs, and she talks about, and we'll get you into a program of diet restriction and exercise. Mediterranean diet is more nuts, fruits, vegetables, less red meat, and I think it's one of the many, many, many diets that one could go on to try to lose weight.
And the nuts are unsalted.
Unsalted.
All right. So, Dr. Eskilsson, going back to hypertension, can you tell us about the importance of control it and the complications associated with them, even though you already addressed one of them, which is one of the phone questions that we had?
That's correct. And as we mentioned, heart failure is a major, high blood pressure is a major contributor to heart failure. Also, strokes are greatly increased by high blood pressure, and the incidence of stroke can be reduced considerably by keeping the blood pressure under control. It also is a factor regarding kidney disease and can affect the function of the kidneys, and particularly in diabetics, we're concerned about that because diabetes compounds the risk of kidney disease and high blood pressure, so we want good control with that.
Yes. Okay. Dr. Knapp, what are the signs of and symptoms of a heart attack?
Well, heart attacks usually occur in middle-aged men, and our average age of our veterans that we see in the office is about 70. So that is the target population. So we're really in tune to that. Usually, it's chest pain, and the classic chest pain with heart disease is usually right in the middle of your chest, radiates maybe into your neck, into your arm, and occurs with exercise. So one is okay at rest, but walking to the mailbox, especially on a cold day, you may actually have chest pain. We pay attention to that, and we can talk about testing. The other classic presentation of a heart attack in men is after eating, developing severe nausea, vomiting, chest pressure. And when we hear that, oftentimes that's just classic for developing a myocardial infarction.
Okay. So what tests do we have available to verify a heart attack?
Well, fortunately in the VA, our cardiology referral is done within a week or two, and we can get testing within a week or two at the VA. As many of you know, we lots of times have difficulty getting some subspecialty support, and it may take a while, but cardiology has fixed that at the VA. And there's a number of stress tests that we can get. One, if you can actually walk on a treadmill, we can do a regular treadmill test. Two, if you can't walk on a treadmill, we do a radiology test where you actually will sit in front of a camera. They'll give you some medication and actually image your heart to see whether there's any damaged areas or any areas at risk. And we're just starting, and you two guys probably have seen this, we're starting to do more CAT scan angiograms, looking at the arteries of the heart as well. It's important to have a whole list of testing you can have done. For example, I had a gentleman the other day. He was hospitalized, but he couldn't walk on the treadmill. So they went ahead and picked the test that he could have. They ordered the imaging of his heart, but he was allergic to the dye. So they had to go to the third test, which is a CAT scan where they look at the arteries of the heart and see whether there's any arteries that are clogged. And actually, his arteries were totally normal. So he didn't have heart disease, which led us to get an MRI of his neck, and it turned out that he had pretty severe arthritis causing his left arm symptoms, which were a mimic of heart disease.
Heart disease. Okay, thank you very much. Dr. Eskilsson, what are some of the initial medications that we should start on a patient with hypertension, and what about hypertension and diabetics?
There's several options for the first blood pressure. Classically, we've used like a diuretic such as hydrochlorothiazide or chlorthalidone, but also there's what they call ACE inhibitors, which affect a protein that elevates the blood pressure, and like lisinopril is the example of that, or they call an ARB, which is the same protein inhibitor, but it blocks where it attaches, such as losartan. These are commonly used. There's also a type called calcium channel blockers that some people may do better on. So there's several options. Very often, it takes more than just one blood pressure medicine, though, to get it under control. It's if there's just a mild change, then one will likely do it. But if the systolic's well over 160, we may need to start with just two medications. It's like hitching two horses to the wagon to pull it.
Mm-hmm. Doctor, we have to take another break, so we'll be right back. Again, the phone lines are open. This program is a full hour today, which means we have a half hour left. And the number to call is 622-9622. We'll be right back.
Fox Fox News Radio, I'm Carmen Roberts. President-elect Trump starts draining the swamp. He's requiring anyone on his team to sign a pledge not to lobby for 5 years. That as he meets today to go over more names.
There could be additional announcements later today about his cabinet selections as well. One name that we've heard a lot is retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, who is now said to be under consideration for National Security Advisor.
Fox's Garrett Tenney. A terrifying natural gas explosion in Canton, Illinois kills at least one person and injures 11 others.
I was drying my dishes and I felt the boom, and I felt it so hard that it pushed me against my kitchen table.
Area businesses closed today as crews assess the damage, and job hunting may get a bit harder in Russia. The government ordering access to LinkedIn be blocked today for violating data storage requirements. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Okay, so everyone makes a holiday wish list this time of year, and usually these lists are filled with all kinds of the latest gadgets, games, and the hottest new gotta-have-it gifts. But is it possible to give a gift they'll love that might not be on their list? The answer is yes, and I'm here to tell you what it is. I'm David McNeil, inventor of WeatherTech floor liners. You see, at WeatherTech, we start by using lasers to measure a vehicle's interior, so each floor liner is custom fit to each specific make and model. So whatever you drive, your car's floor will be fully protected up the front, in the back, and even up the sides. And the best part is they are made right here in America. WeatherTech also has a full line of premium automotive accessories that make ideal gifts for everyone this season. Ordering is easy. Shop online at WeatherTech.com or call 1-800-CarMats. From all of us at WeatherTech, happy holidays.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
Hey, this is Matt Wilkerson from Verizon. You work all day, right? So why would you want to spend your night out shopping for that new phone? Well, Marion County, let me and Verizon help you out. I can deliver to your home or office, saving you precious time. Phone, tablets, internet, home phones, even accessories. Whatever you need, we will deliver free of charge. Call me at the store, 352-528-0020. That's 528-0020.
Experience Christmas at Gaylord Palms, presented by Fujifilm Instax, November 18th through January 1st. Enjoy spectacular holiday decor, dining, and entertainment, including ice, with an all-new theme featuring a Charlie Brown Christmas, Cirque Dreams Unwrapped stage show, breakfast with Charlie Brown and friends, Alpine Rush snow tubing, and much more. It's everything Christmas in one extraordinary place. Tickets and overnight packages, including priority extra cool hour admission to ice, are on sale now at Christmas@GaylordPalms.com.
Christmas time is here, and this holiday season, Gaylord Palms puts a brand new twist on a Christmas classic. It's Ice, presented by Pepsi, featuring a Charlie Brown Christmas by Charles Schulz, November 18th through January 1st. See the whole Peanuts gang carved in over 2 million pounds of colorful ice, including Snoopy's decorated doghouse, and dancing at the holiday play rehearsal. Your awe-inspiring experience concludes with the wonder of the nativity and ice. For tickets and packages, visit Christmas@GaylordPalms.com.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. Gene and Debbie would like to thank you for another successful year of business. We want to wish everybody a safe, healthy, and prosperous 2017. We are ready to be of service with our pasture mowing. 352-629-2440. Locally owned and operated. Experienced and reliable. Commercial and residential. Licensed and insured. Powell Gene, GENE at yahoo.com. 352-629-2440. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. 352-629-2440. Proud United States veteran.
'Tis the season to be merry at the Appleton Museum of Art's annual Family Day, celebrating the Urban Family Holiday Exhibit. Saturday, December 3rd from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. Enjoy the beloved Dickens Village, exquisite holiday trees from the Urban Collection, and trees decorated by community organizations. Visit the art space throughout the day for holiday art-making projects, and from 1 till 3 p.m. take carriage rides around the museum grounds. Have photos taken with Santa and enjoy light refreshments, all free of charge. For more information, visit appletonmuseum.org. All right, 58 degrees here at the studios of The Source, broadcasting live from the Paddock Mall. We are halfway through a full hour Veterans program. We'll be back to the Veterans News in just a minute. Let me mention that the show is brought to you in part by Bob Wine's Community Gardens and Nursery at 2610 Southeast 38th Street here in Ocala. When it comes to landscaping, Bob Wine's has what you need. Everything from small plants to large trees, mulch, fertilizer, and so much more. And Bob Wine's offers a 10% discount to veterans. Their phone number is 352-629-5766. Now let's return to Veterans News with Hank Whittier. Hank?
Yeah, I'm back. Jink is trying to get my attention. Don't have to.
Is Bronson supposed to say anything?
Who?
Bronson.
I don't think so. No, he was just taking photos and pictures, and he was trying to make me look good by showing all of you. So, by comparison, that's what he said. He said, Hank, I can make you look good because those other people. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dr. Torres, if you would.
Okay. So, Dr. Knapp, can you talk to us about diabetes and A1C?
Well, I sure can. With the idea of empowerment and taking care of one's health, one of the things the VA does best is blood pressure cuffs are free, glucose monitors are free, our classes and referral to dietary are free. So we really want all our diabetics to have a glucometer, all our hypertensive patients to have a blood pressure cuff. So what is the A1C? We all know what our blood sugar is at this exact moment, but there is an indicator that averages your blood sugar over the last 90 days and changes very slowly. So if we want to know what your blood sugars have been doing over the last 90 days, we look at the A1C, and that's the glucose that's attached to your proteins in your blood, your hemoglobin. And a normal A1C is 6.5 or below. For diabetes, it's 6.6 or above. In a well-controlled diabetic, it's 6.9. Unfortunately, about 10% of our diabetics at the VA have A1Cs that are 9 or above, which are way too high. So when you go to the gym and someone asks you, tell somebody you're in good shape, they'll ask you what you bench press. When I see a diabetic and they're telling me about coming to the VA, the first question I ask them is, what is your A1C? And if the A1C is very high, then we consider that an emergency and really get people back. I'll tell you a quick vignette. I had a priest that came to see us. He had been seen in another VA for 12 years. His A1C was 10. Never had been less than 10. So what we did at the VA for this gentleman is we saw him every single week for 12 weeks. And for the first time in 10 years, his A1C was 7.0. And so lots of times it just takes working with our veterans and getting them back more frequently and good teaching and good diet to turn that around.
All right, Dr. Eskelson, can you, now that we are talking about diabetics, go over the relation and importance to control the blood pressure in a diabetic patient?
With the diabetics, we are concerned about the blood pressure because they're higher risk for heart disease, higher risk for stroke, and particularly high risk for kidney disease. So very often our primary choice of blood pressure will be one of the types of blood pressure medications that protect the kidneys. And these are usually the ACE inhibitors such as lisinopril or ARB such as losartan. Oftentimes too, a calcium channel blocker may work very well with that because they work by different mechanisms and they're particularly good for the diabetics. Sometimes diuretics will be added, but we have to be very careful with that because it can affect the salts in the blood, can affect kidney function as well, and also some of the diuretics may actually affect glucose metabolism. So we have to be careful with the medications we use.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Knapp, does the VA have any diabetic classes or teaching or nutrition classes available?
Well, it's another strength of the VA, and I'm very proud to be working at the VA because the answer is definitely yes. Many of you know I came from private practice, and it's impossible to get diabetic teaching or nutrition teaching in the community because of Medicare reimbursement. But all our CBOCs, the 12 CBOCs, do have a nutritionist and diabetic teaching. So we have diabetic classes, teach you how to give your insulin, teach you how to check your blood sugars, teach you about complications, and we do have a dietitian, and the access to our dietitian is extraordinarily good. So we really do encourage our diabetics initially to come with their wife and sit down and really talk to our dietitian. And as Hank, you probably saw, there was a big article in the newspaper maybe about 6 weeks ago. Our dietitian actually has cooking classes. And she has cooking classes twice a month. And they took a picture of her with her class giving cooking classes. And why is that important? Well, because a lot of our veterans live alone. You know, men oftentimes they lose their spouse, and they're stuck trying to figure out what to cook. They haven't cooked for 70 years, and all of a sudden they have to cook according to a diabetic diet. And she actually has cooking classes, which I think is one of the neatest things the VA has to offer. And they took pictures of her cooking class and wrote an article on her. The other thing I should mention is the MOVE program, MOVE, and that's a weight loss program. So it's exercise and weight loss, and sometimes it's extraordinarily effective. And it's just hard to talk people into going into the program. Dietitians tell me everyone who eats is an expert in diet and nutrition. And that's my experience too. Trying to get people into the program is the hardest thing to do.
Dr. Eskilson, how should a veteran check their blood pressure at home?
Well, we have a couple of options which are actually quite good. Blood pressure cuffs are available free through the VA, and if they're comfortable just checking their blood pressure and reporting it, that works well. The blood pressure needs to be checked when a person's at rest, not when you've got a dozen other things you should be doing at the same time, not when you've just turned off the TV channel from watching your favorite news show or other types of things like that, but when you're at rest. And also, through the VA, there is a program with home monitoring where if a person's having trouble with their blood pressure, they can be enrolled in that, and the blood pressure machine is hooked up to communications with the VA, so it sends copies of the blood pressure report to us so we can review on a weekly or biweekly basis and get an idea, is the blood pressure abnormality at this time the normal, which means we have a problem, or it's just a one-time fluke, which means if we treat it, we're going to make you hypotensive, which has its problems.
Thank you. So, Dr. Knapp, do you know if we have those services available as well for diabetics, home telehealth?
We do. As a matter of fact, we call it CCHT, and what it is, it's kind of a neat program, and we do have a nurse that will call weekly or even daily. And it was set up for our heart failure patients because when our heart failure patients gain weight, we want to adjust their medication. But for any diabetic that has very poor control, we try to get them in that program, and they can report their blood sugars weekly, and then we can get those blood sugars. I'll tell you something that I really like with the VA, and again, this is something that's hard to get in private practice, Hank, is emails. Mm-hmm. All the primary care docs, the 250 primary care docs in the VA, answer emails from their patients. And my diabetics that have very poor control will email me every single week, and I can adjust their insulin over the email.
Very good. We do have a phone call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning. My husband was recently diagnosed at the vet with Alzheimer's, and I would like to know if I'm trying to get, I haven't had any luck in getting a caregiver support group here in the Ocala area. And I either don't get a call back from the VA, and I would just like to know, I would like to join one of these groups because I have no idea, and very limited information that they've given me on how to help care for somebody that is experiencing this neurological disease.
Can we, ma'am, can you tell us what neurologic disease again we're talking about?
Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's. Good question. I think that I know that we have a number of resources for you, and I know there's resources non-VA in the community as well. I think probably the best person to go over the multitude of resources, VA and non-VA, and match them to your needs is our social worker, Neil Lifshutz. And Neil is probably the best social worker in the entire county, and we can have him call you. We'd certainly like to go ahead and get your name and number and everything else at the end of the I'm sorry.
We can do that off the air.
Okay, we'll try to do that off the air if we could get your name and number, and I promise you we will have him give you a call and go through what's available. But rest assured, there's lots of programs available. It's just trying to match the program to the exact need that you have.
Okay, and at the new resource center, when it opens up, will they have, could people walk in and find out about this information without having to go up to Gainesville?
Well, the new resource center is really for social services. Some of that information will be available. The VA will be only there periodically. So what you're going to be dealing with is social service agencies, but they will have some of that information there as well. And that's really what the purpose was, so that a veteran or a spouse of a veteran can walk in and get a lot of information at one stop. So I guess the simple response is yes, that information will be available there.
Okay, thank you very much.
Ma'am, if you can hang on the line, don't hang up. I'm going to go to a commercial break, and then during the commercial break, you can talk off the air and give us your phone number and other information, okay? So we will take a little break right now, and I see other calls coming in as well. So the other calls are also invited. Give me a chance to get through the break, and we'll be right back with more Veterans News after this.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be sunny and pleasant on this Thursday with a high of 76 to 80. Then clear to partly cloudy and comfortable Thursday night. Lows ranging from the upper 40s and 50s inland to about 64 along the coast. Friday, mostly sunny and warm, high 78 to 82. Saturday, mostly sunny and becoming breezy and pleasant, the high 76 to 80. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
There are only a few things in life that you can be certain will always be around: death, taxes, the pursuit of happiness, and computers. As they continue to advance at an epic pace, the one absolute certainty about them is that they'll break. It's not an if, it's a when. And when it happens, bring it to the only company in Ocala that's certified in Apple and Microsoft, Ocala Mac and PC Repair. They even offer on-site computer repair service, so they come to you. And if you do drop it off, you can check your repair status online. Ocala Mac and PC Repair is a family-owned and operated company that can do everything from mobile repair to wireless networks, fixing viruses, data recovery, even building and installing new systems. Visit online at ocalamacpc.com. In person, 1713 East Silver Springs Boulevard, or give them a call, 352-566-8324. That's 352-566-8324. Ocala Mac and PC Repair.
Central Florida Eye Institute is the area's leader in laser vision correction. From high-definition refraction surgery and LASIK vision correction to custom cataract, glaucoma, and diabetic treatment, you can count on Dr. Crowley and his effective, friendly staff to provide you with the quality care you deserve. Call 352-237-8400 for an appointment or more information. That number again is 352-237-8400. Looking forward to service your vision needs.
If you're hearing this message and wish to lose 50 pounds permanently, then write this phone number down, 352-633-0473. Dr. Juan Jordan's office in Lady Lake is offering the first 15 callers a free metabolism and body fat analysis with a comprehensive, in-depth fat-burning consultation. You have nothing to lose. Please call 352-633-0473.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. and she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA, The Source.
10 minutes before 10 o'clock, 10 minutes left in the Veterans Program. 62 degrees, by the way. And Doctors and Hank, we have another phone call. If you want to go straight to that call. Good morning. Thank you for waiting. You're on the air now.
Good morning. My question is, why is it so important to prevent you from having low blood sugars?
Oh, I'll take that. Thank you for your call. It really is important to prevent low blood sugars, and one of the standards that I just instituted in the last couple of years is not only to ask everybody about hypoglycemia, which we do routinely, especially our diabetics who are on insulin, but also advise our diabetic patients to check their blood sugar before they get behind the wheel of a car, and make sure that they have glucose tabs or some candy always available, because unfortunately, we do see our diabetic patients occasionally get into car accidents, have hypoglycemia, will pass out or have altered mental states. And repeated episodes of that actually can cause neurologic dysfunction over a long period of time. So, although we want to control blood sugars, as Dr. Eskelsen said, to prevent the complications of diabetes, which are heart disease, kidney disease, we do not want to cause repeated low blood sugars and hypoglycemia.
Okay, and you have another phone call. Okay. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning. I just have a quick question. Is it possible for me to get Lantus insulin from the VA if I needed this type of insulin?
I'll take that. Yes, as a matter of fact, we've just done some work on that in the last month. Our director of the clinics, Dr. Lorenzano, has worked with pharmacy. Lantus insulin is a long-acting insulin that is only given usually one time a day, 99% of the time. We call it the no-brainer insulin because it doesn't peak and cause low blood sugar, so we like to use that. The VA is repeatedly relaxing the restrictions on the medication, so for our veterans who have trouble with the regular inexpensive insulin like NPH or Humulin, I've been able to get Lantus insulin much more frequently for our veterans. And while I have you on the phone, recently the pharmacy allows the primary care doctors to prescribe Aspart insulin, the fast-acting insulin, which acts within about 15 minutes with meals. So lots of times we have our diabetics on long-acting, one time a day, and then the fast-acting with meals. So we're getting better and better.
Thank you.
Well, is the reason that you weren't given it in the past cost-related?
It's all cost, Hank, and we're going to talk about some of the oral medications too. Some of these medicines are frightfully expensive and not needed. Mm-hmm. So, but the VA's time goes on is allowing the primary care docs to prescribe those.
Dr. Eskelsen, can you talk to us about the oral medications for diabetes?
There's several medications that can be used orally, and they fall into basically two categories. One is the medications such as glipizide, glimepiride that stimulate the pancreas to make more insulin, and the other medications are like metformin. There's one pioglitazone. These are different types of things that make the cells pay attention to the insulin in the body. As time goes on, or if a person gains weight, the insulin receptors in the cell become less efficient at transmitting the signals from the insulin to handle the sugar. There are various other oral medications that can be used too. Most of those are fairly expensive and have limited availability through the VA, but those are the two that we use the most.
Dr. Knapp, what are the major and minor risk factors for coronary artery disease?
Well, good question. The American Heart Association has changed the 10-year estimates for heart attack and stroke. And actually, a lot of us have a calculator right on our computer. It takes 1 minute to fill out. And I was telling one of the support groups about it. And unfortunately, out of all the risk factors, they only include a few, and the major risk factors they include in the 10-year risk of having a heart attack or stroke are age. Age is the biggest player. Smoking, yes or no. Your good cholesterol, your total cholesterol, your blood pressure, and they exclude in the calculation diabetes, obesity, activity level. But it's kind of neat when you're in with your provider. You can ask them, what is my 10-year risk of having a heart attack or stroke according to the American Heart Association guidelines? And I'm 66. I'm on cholesterol meds. I never smoked. My blood pressure is fine. And my 10-year risk, I would think, because I picture myself healthier than Hank, my 10-year risk, I would think, would be very low. And because it's really driven by age, my 10-year risk is about 20%, which actually forces me to really take good care of myself.
Well, it just goes to show you, but that may be true, but you are delusional as well.
Well, since that 10-year risk is run by age, you can imagine what Hank's risk factor would be.
That's right. I should just lay down now, right? Is that what I'll check myself in?
That's right. Check yourself in.
You leaving us, Bronson?
No, not.
Oh, okay. Because you're going to take a group photo when we're all done. Can you do that? I appreciate that. Okay. Yeah. Very good.
All
Well,
right.
a lot of changes, and one of the things that, you see is this whole cholesterol thing and whether, really that's a true measurement of risk, because we've seen some material lately that people are de-emphasizing that, at least they're...
And statin drugs, de-emphasizing statin drugs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's in the last 5 years, you're right, Hank, probably in the last couple of years, as Dr. Eskilson has mentioned, they've changed the blood pressure guidelines, and people have been unhappy about it. Some doctors don't believe it. They've even changed the A1C guidelines. 5 years ago, we'd run the A1Cs extraordinarily low, and people would have hypoglycemia and car accidents.
Yeah.
So that's changed. And again, now we know statins have side effects, so they're relaxing those guidelines. So if you're going to practice medicine, it's one of the reasons that Dr. Torres goes home and reads, his medical journals all night, because these things change, not every year, but almost every couple of months.
And you have a phone call, but it's confusing. The patients pick up on this too, and it's very confusing for them.
Hence the radio show.
Exactly.
And we do have about 3.5 minutes left. And good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Thank you again. As part of your yearly checkup, should you have an EKG done?
It would depend on the risk factors and symptoms. As a screening device, the U.S. Preventive Health Services Task Force has not recommended just doing an EKG. If there are symptoms concerning rapid heartbeats, irregular heartbeats, if you have known heart disease or other concerns, it might be worthwhile, but that would be decided on an individual basis.
Okay. I think he hung up.
Okay. All right. We got 2 minutes, a minute and a half.
Just under 3.
All right. What is white coat syndrome, gentlemen?
I really don't know, because I don't wear a white coat. No, actually, it's the stress of being in an unfamiliar environment where sometimes you think you're dealing with a judgmental person. I mean, anytime you go to a doctor's, you're thinking, did I do what I'm supposed to do? Am I, whatever? Is he going to yell at me? And we try not to yell. We keep our voices down, because otherwise the people come in and say, will you be quiet? We can't receive the TV.
Right.
No, but seriously, it is a stressful event for a lot of people going to the blood pressure, and part of it stimulates a mild fight or flight reflex, which means you need more circulation through the rest of the body, and do that by increasing blood pressure and increasing the pulse. So in some people, their blood pressure will be up considerably over what its normal resting. So it's important, if a person has a one-time reading, to come up with a way of monitoring it in a normal situation, so to decide, do they really have high blood pressure, or is this just we call it white coat syndrome because of the stereotype of doctors wearing white coats.
I stepped out. Could you tell me what the ideal blood pressure at rest is?
We're generally saying about 135 over 85 or lower. There's some decreased risk in strokes if it gets down as low as 115, but if you're elderly and you get blood pressure down that low, you tend to fall down and break things, and that shortens your lifespan more than the blood pressure does. So you have to individualize it, but roughly I like to see it 135 over 85 if that's practically attainable.
And we've got 1 minute.
1 minute.
That's what I
Well, and again, always remember that the phone numbers of the VA and how to get a hold of you good folks.
For sure. If you're a brand new patient, you've never been in, you just come to the clinic. If you can't find your DD-214, come to the clinic. We'll help you. And our access is extraordinarily good. We'll get you in for an appointment within several weeks. If you're an established patient and you need care, call your PAC team nurse, and I will tell you that about 75% of the time we get you in the same day, and close to 100% within 1 or 2 days. If you don't get a phone call back, that's our mistake. Something happened in the system, so be persistent, and we'll get you all taken care of.
Very good. All right, Larry, thank you. I appreciate it. We're ready to sign off. Thanks for coming in.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Torres,
Thank you for the
doctors,
opportunity.
Appreciate it. Really, always a lot of good information when you folks come around. Hopefully you continue that after the old man here retires. I hope you will. And listen, I want to thank you all for your service, and God bless America, everybody.
Broadcasting
Thank you, Larry.
from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala.
Fox News Radio, I'm Carmen Roberts. Donald Trump called him Lion Ted during the Republican primary, but now Texas Senator Ted Cruz may be up for a spot in the Trump cabinet or even the Supreme Court. Cruz says he's ready to work with the president-elect.
I think if Republicans go to Washington and we don't